With more and more people populating the planet, it is inevitable that cities will get bigger as more people need a place to live. It's well known that city life can be stressful and quality of life in some cases can be diminished. But what you may not know is that city life can be harming you physically. Here are 5 ways that city life is killing you. Number 5. It's not uncommon to see some cities in this world suffocating under a cloud of smog. Many people imagine a sci-fi nightmare where thousands of people a year are dying due to heavy toxic fumes, with towers enveloped in thick pollution. But that sci-fi city is actually London in the UK. Research of King's College in London did a study onto the harmful effects of nitrogen oxide that is created by diesel-powered cars. The startling research conducted in the summer of 2015 concluded 9,500 people on average die a year due to the pollution, which will soon rise to 10,000 a year in the city. While London has come heaps and bounds from the 1950s smog-covered streets, it's still startling to see that hidden pollution accounts for so many people's lives being cut short. It is also interesting to note that London is relatively clear of pollution in comparison to many other cities around the world. Number 4. Many people who live in the city experience a level of anxiety, or in some cases schizophrenia. In 2011, research was conducted in the Central Institute of Mental Health in Mannheim, Germany. They ran an experiment to see how city folk deal with stress as part of a mental health program, and what they found out was those who lived in the city had a more prominent reaction to threats and fear in the brain. What's more, the study also pointed that people are twice as likely to experience schizophrenia living in the city. That's for both people born and those who move into the densely populated areas. This isn't directly linked to people being mentally ill, but more to do with stressful city lives that leads to increased anxiety and mental health problems. Number 3. It's a simple fact that if you are in a city, you are statistically more likely to be a victim of crime. Research has shown that the higher the population and more urbanized the area you live, the higher the crime rate. This is a universal finding, so those who live in small towns have a lower chance of being a victim. Inner city crimes such as property theft and violent assaults increase drastically in comparison to less urban areas. A few studies into the reasons behind this point to social factors, such as the anonymous nature of being among so many people, while other studies show a lack of green space, like parks, can be a factor in increased crime. Some studies show that city areas with more trees and parks have a lower crime rate than the conventional concrete scenes. Number 2. Many people who have travelled on public city transport will know how crammed it can get. People in a small confined space, like a subway or bus, leads to a very easy and convenient way for disease to spread. City life is almost like a deadly germ factory. In 2014, researchers at the University of Manchester decided to test people's hygiene. These researchers went on city transport to record coughs and sneezes in public. Each person was assigned a respiratory etiquette, meaning how clean they were. Out of 154 people, only one person was ranked as clean. The 153 people were observed sneezing and coughing into the air. This can lead to deadly outbreaks and epidemics in a very short period of time. Many colds and flu-type germs are transmitted in city transport systems. However, if a deadly disease hit the city, it will cause devastation rapidly. Number 1. More people means larger cities. Personal space in city life is almost non-existent, and properties are getting smaller and smaller. In London, it costs £275,000 or $430,000 for a tiny 14 square metre room, which is causing health problems. Adults confined to small spaces are shown to have increased stress, which leads to claustrophobia. It's not uncommon to share accommodation in cities, which has been proven that the more inhabitants the building has, the increase in domestic violence. Children aren't immune to small apartments either. Children who live in small apartments become withdrawn and lose the ability to concentrate. This lack of ability to concentrate is shown to lead to poor school education, which can affect a child later in life. All of these living conditions combined do have a negative impact on mental health and life expectancy, with stress linked to illnesses and heart attacks.